over there scratching on the scratching post, and lady is staring at me from the stairs as if to say, come downstairs, why are you up here? And then I'll go downstairs, and then Indy will park himself at the top of these stairs and meow down in the most pitiful and mournful way you have ever heard for about 10-15 minutes, and then he'll come down. He just doesn't want to be alone. I don't blame him. I don't want to be alone. Alone is scary. So I'm going to run this espresso from Crimson through the Chemex because I want to see what that does. I'm going to put it down to a medium course right here. I said yesterday I really wanted to buy that Barista ESP. I don't know. It would be nice. I'm kind of going back and forth on it. It would be a nice thing to have. I just don't know what I would do. Ooh, nice, 33. I just don't know what I would do with this one because I really don't want this one hanging around. You know, I'm not going to throw it away. It's a perfectly good and very nice working, grinder, but it is a used grinder. I mean, it's only been used for coffee. What else is it going to be used for? But, I don't know. Oh, yeah, let's spritz. Let's do a spritzies. Do the spritzies with the water. There we go. Today's my mother's birthday. I tried to give her a call. She must be on the phone with somebody else because it went to voicemail. But today is my mother's birthday. I'm gonna relieve the pressure on this. Oop, scared lady. Scared me too. Relieving pressure on anything is scary. A long time ago, an old classmate, wasn't necessarily a friend, but they lived close by in the area, and they were taking tires off of the rims of truck tires in an old shop. And back in the 80s it was even considered an old shop. So I think it was the mid-90s when it happened. He was taking wheels off of tires, and I don't think that I think that they had positioned the tire to get everything off, and it just seems like they didn't take any air out, which seems wild. I mean, they were probably just screwing around, just doing it, not paying any attention. And he went to, as far as I'm aware and remember, he went to take the tire off the rim. The tire exploded in his face and killed him instantly. So like ever since, I've been like very wary of pressure and and especially tires. It's kind of one of the main reasons why I'm a big advocate for keeping your tires new and fresh. And upon discovering that my grandfather's tires on his car that we drove around in Florida for that week were the original 2012 tires, got them changed almost immediately because, tires can look brand new, but if they start season cracking in places you don't see, those are points of failure. So ever since then, I've learned that happened, and it was very scary. He was a well-liked person. He was from a big family down there. I think they did a lot of cattle stuff down there. I don't know if it was dairy so much as it was just raising cattle. So yeah, it was pretty big. So it's like ever since then, been kind of an advocate for taking care of your tires, because if they go out, anything can happen. If you're driving down the highway, if you're driving down a road, if they blow, anything, a multitude of things could happen. You could just coast safely off to the side of the road, but that's one of 50 scenarios. So just being safe makes more sense to me. There's always one. That showed him. There's always one. There you go. See, it's a great working regular grind device. You know, it's just you want to upgrade. You know, you get to a certain point after 2 years and you're like, gosh, it would be kind of nice to have something a little bit, oh, it smells so good. Something a little bit more robust, you know. That is 32 grams of coffee, all ready to go. We're almost there with that. But yeah, today's Mom's birthday. She's still recovering from our trip. It seemed to hit her a lot harder than it hit me, but it was really bad, whatever it was. Whatever we caught in that house and then was compounded on the airplane ride home. It definitely took its toll on the both of us, and for her worse. She's still suffering. It took a little while for it to build on her. Yeah, so she was suffering the last time I talked to her. And I tried to call her this morning, but she must be on the phone with somebody. I don't know. So, because I went to voicemail. Sometimes it depends on where they stand in that house, too. The house is in the middle of nowhere. So they are on top of a hill, which means they do get cell service fairly readily. It's just that, you know, if they're in a certain spot, maybe on the other side of the hill, the cell service goes to pot. So we actually have a T-Mobile internet antenna in their house so that they don't have to have that DirecTV satellite crap. They had FrogNet at one point. I think it was a dial-up service that was terrible. Oh my God. But then, and then DirecTV kind of started advertising their satellite service, and that was okay, except for the point, if you went over a certain amount, they started charging you. And, you know, if you didn't use it a lot, you like a month, if you didn't use the maximum amount per month, you would get some put into like a storage. So you could start eating into that storage, but I think it was at a lower rate of transfer, you know? So yeah, it was awful. It was really bad. And you had to, I don't know, it just seems like you had to do a lot of hoopla to get on it, and it was just not great. And if it rained, you didn't get any internet. If it was too cloudy, you didn't get any internet. Sometimes if the sun was too bright, you didn't get any internet. So it was a mess. So the T-Mobile little antenna, because they basically have line of sight to another antenna that's like 55 miles away. So it works out for them really well, which is good, because otherwise they'd be cut off from society more than they were cut off from society to start with. So, yeah, in the middle of nowhere is an understatement when it comes to that area, the foothills of the Appalachia. But yeah, I thought I would chew some more with this Crimson. I wanted to see how it went through a Chemex. I know it's espresso. Maybe the grand finale tomorrow we'll attempt to grind it down to the finest grind and put it in the mocha pot and put it through the mocha pot. Mocha pot. Mocha pot. If you're fancy, I guess. We'll do about 450. Let's do about 450 into this. So I need to watch the weight and not the, because it's kind of majestic, you know? You watch the water go down and then you fill it back up and you watch the water come. It's just and it's really funny. To me, it's really funny and it's really mesmerizing, because it is a fun little process. It's very windy outside today. It's supposed to get warmer today, about 57, and then dip back down into the 40s and 30s, and then next Tuesday, we might see 60, maybe. Today might be a day to take the car out and get it washed, because I think it'll hit 57 about 1 o'clock, and right now it's about 54, so 55. But like I said, it's really windy out, and it's even raining a little bit, which is really strange. March is a weird month in Ohio. Name a month that isn't weird in Ohio. August? August. It's usually just hot. and miserable in Ohio. So I would say that'd be about the most normal month is August. This still doesn't look very dark. I thought to myself the AeroPress yesterday did not look like a very dark roast. I mean, I guess this does say it is Crimson Espresso, but it is a light roast on here. I guess I did not look that closely. It does say light roast right there. Espresso light roast. Okay. I mean, it kind of breaks my brain a little bit. I didn't really think that an espresso roast could be light. It's not really something that they talk about. Maybe a lot of the people that talk about coffee online or on a YouTube channel think that you know all of this stuff before you've started watching their videos. So I've just never really heard anybody say that you could have a light roasted espresso. You know? It's weird. I always thought espresso was dark. Oh, by the way, the paper with the metal mesh, you saw how it worked really well and the distribution looked great. There were 0 particulates in the bottom of the cup of coffee. So that was the goal. The goal, other than taste being fun, the goal was to not have particulates in the bottom, because with that metal mesh, you still get a lot of fines coming through the mesh. And then, you know, it's just coming through that aperture that is accessed by pressure. So you're still getting some like very small amount of fines, like the bottom of that little ring down there would just have fines in the bottom of it. No fines at all. The coffee tasted really nice. So yeah, that worked out really well. Thank you, Roku, for that recommendation. It worked out really well. I should try it though without the paper, just to see what you would get in the end. So yeah, so this is a light roast. It's the espresso from Crimson, little coffee shop at Easton. I'm sure many more around the country. The only one I've really ever noticed around town is at Easton. So this is a big cup of coffee. You get a lot more lime, a lot more kind of citrusy taste through the Chemex. Again, you do get the cocoa nib, interesting flavor, kind of a little bit of a bitter taste. Vanilla pudding, though. That'd just be interesting. I would assume it would be really difficult for someone that says, I taste this, this, and this, to explain. I mean, they could probably explain at one point in the tasting process they get those flavors, but how they come up with what those flavors are, because, I mean, they're just hints, they're notes, they're tasting notes. They're not what this does not taste like vanilla pudding. This does not taste like, a lime. Like if you get a Bones coffee and it says caramel salt on it, you're going to get your salt and you're going to get your caramel in that flavor because it was infused. This is just washed coffee, and you're just getting the flavor notes that come in the coffee itself. And it's just interesting. It's like watching a sommelier do wine, I guess. I don't really like wine. Not really. Don't like wine. I tried wine before. We actually had nice wine at a restaurant, because we were down on Florida on Valentine's Day, and my aunt said, let's just go to a nice restaurant, sit down, I'll make reservations. We'll have a nice sit-down restaurant in Florida while we're down there. I'm like, okay, sure, we can do that. That sounds nice. And it was nice. They must have had a lot of reservations because that restaurant was full, and their wait staff was incredibly overwhelmed, like intensely overwhelmed. She had to apologize 3 times because she went to do something else and then 5 minutes later came back. And we didn't get our order put in for like 20 minutes, or we didn't get to order for like 20 minutes since we sat down. And then the food got there quickly, but then after the food was over with, she came back and we said we were ready for the bill. We weren't in a hurry, But he's like, ready for the bill. Okay. And then that took about 10 minutes for her to get the bill to us. So, I mean, they were very overwhelmed. And we weren't angry about it. You know, we weren't upset. I've been in customer service for 20 years. I know not to be upset when people are clearly overwhelmed, you know, clearly overwhelmed with what's going on around them. You know, but you could be a little, all right. You know, you could be a little annoyed. That's fine. But just roll with the punches. You know, are you in a hurry? I don't know why. It was Valentine's night. I was with my aunt and my mother. Yeah, I'm not in a hurry to get back to that fucking house. You know. But Mom had a glass and a half of wine, and I had to take the other half away from her because she's not a drinker, and she was getting loud. And I'm like, you're done. But Tyra, of course, she put down 2 glasses and then drank Mom's half glass, because, yeah, she drinks wine a lot. Mom does not. Mom is not a drinker. So mainly because I think her father, her actual father, who died when he was 33, she was 13 and he was like 33 years old when he died, was an alcoholic. So, and I think she said that she had an uncle that the family, you know, was close to, who was also an alcoholic. So she never really drank. I take that back. She has stories about her drinking and smoking in the basement of their houses in various places, but she's not an alcoholic, and she doesn't drink very often anymore. So there's a lot of waffling to try to explain away my mother's ease of getting drunk. And I get drunk really easy. So, you know, and I don't drink very often, and I really haven't I don't think I have for quite a while. It's just not worth it. You know, it's hard to find things that taste good. And even then, the feeling afterwards, I don't really like it. So anyway, but coffee's good. And this is really nice. The Crimson Espresso from Crimson is really good. I do wish I had an espresso machine. I'd waste all of this trying to dial in a good cup, you know? Maybe we will someday. It's fine. I'm not that big a hurry, I guess. I've got enough time. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. If you have a Crimson around you, there's the QR code. So the Innovation Lab and Roastery is in Alum Creek in Columbus. I think that's downtown. So right here in Columbus is Crimson. And they're always hopping when we go in there on the weekend. I mean, like all day long. There was a line when we went in there to get coffee. I bought a coffee and I bought this. And there's a pretty big line, but they were shooting people through really fast. They're really efficient there. And the people working, unfortunately, when I started going there, I got to know the people that were working, and it seems like they've moved on to greener pastures, and now it's a new bunch of people that, you know, since I don't work there, I'm not going to be there every day to say hi to, you know. I gave one of the employees there. She said, I walked in with a Riff Tracks hat, and she said, "Oh my gosh, my father loves MST3K and Riff Tracks." And I'm like, "Has he ever seen one live?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, they're in theaters here in Columbus, you know." And I told her the date that I think that year that Riff Tracks was going to be live, streamed live into the theater here in Columbus. So, and then I said, "I have some extra pins." I said, "Let me bring the extra pins, and your dad can have them, and they have Riff Track stuff on them." So hopefully, she said that he loved them. So, which is, you know, you don't see a lot of people when you walk around with Riff Tracks pins on your coat, stop you and go like, "Oh, hey, yeah, the Dan the Baker downtown." I don't know if it's kind of downtown. But Dan the Baker, who does some amazing breads and cookies and stuff, who sells out regularly downtown in the downtown area. We walked in to buy some bread and a cookie or two, and he saw my jacket, and he did a quote from the movie. He said, "And here comes the amazing Rando," and it's like immediate joy. I'm like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" And then he went to apologize I'm sorry. And then he said, oh, no way, don't have to be sorry. You very much appreciate it. And I said, hell yeah, I appreciate that. That's amazing. And then went on to talk about how he really enjoyed the Netflix season. He said he saw Mac and Me in theaters just back in the day. So, so that's nice. It's nice when that happens and that kind of interaction happens. So anyway, again, thank you so much for watching. Sneak in the RiffTrax Kickstarter is going on. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form except for giving them money every year because I believe in them and their product is amazing and they will always have my support. So every single one of them, all great people, all great to interact with. Everybody is very kind and thoughtful. And, you know, in this day and age, it's nice. I mean, I know they're a corporation and I know that it's in their best interest to be kind, but they've been doing this type of comedy since like the late, like 89, 90, you know? So to be doing this now in 2025, you know, and not be cynical and be like done with it and just be going through the motions is pretty amazing. I mean, you must really love what you do. So yeah, I'm definitely a RiffTrax supporter. So go to their Kickstarter, look for RiffTrax, and you know, at some point they'll have stretch goals where if you pledge $5, you'll get some free MP3s or get some free shorts from their website, you know, and that's always cool. So kick in if you can. Definitely go and see it. It's in August. The dates are listed. So there'll be 2 showings in August. So one of them should fit your schedule, I hope. We will talk to you tomorrow. Like I said, I think we'll try to put this through the Maca Pot, and we'll see how disastrous that is. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.